Hello, YouTube, and welcome back to me trying to read every single lost episode creepypasta that I can get my hands on. Today, we will be reading All I Can Do Is Smile. This looks to be a Fat Albert creepypasta. I'm having a little bit of distaste for the obvious reason. Not that I ever watched Fat Albert, really. There's a small issue. But like I said, I've never really watched it, so I think we should just get right into it. All I Can Do Is Smile. In 1976, an unreleased Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids episode was secretly being made without any prior announcement, focusing on Fat Albert meeting the new girl on the street. It was finished, but its release was scrapped shortly after test screening due to how dark and depressing it was to show at a certain age for kids. However, the theme about abuse would be reused for a later episode called Spare the Rod. It was considered lost media for a while, with its synopsis being unknown, with its existence hidden very obscurely from the internet, with its only proof being mentioned in a lost interview with Bill Cosby himself. That is, until someone came forward to claim and confirmed that his grandfather had actually seen the episode as one of the members of the test audience and remembers it so clearly that the OP described it in very full detail. The episode. The episode starts off with the intro to the show itself, but however, it was different than the one in any other episodes. During the intro, there was a random character that was never seen in the show before, just standing there, watching them performing the intro in front of her. After the theme song, the gang would notice and ask the girl who she was. The girl revealed her name is Ruby, before Rudy pointed out that her name sounded just like his first name. Ruby chuckled a bit about it and smiled as she continued to talk with the gang as they each introduced themselves to her. Shortly after the conversation, she said to the gang that they are the nicest people she had ever seen before telling them that her parents needed her before walking off sniffling and sobbing as the gang greeted their goodbyes to her. This made Albert notice as he walked up to her and asks her what the problem was. She told him that he doesn't want to know as she resumed walking off, still sniffling and sobbing. This made Albert feel bad and also concerned about what might have happened to her prior to her moving to the street before continuing on his day, feeling very worried about her. The next morning, Ruby visits the gang again. This time she had a purple eye and several bruises along with small cuts. This made the gang shocked as Albert then asked what happened. Ruby told him that her parents abused her physically, hence the reason why she had a purple eye along with those injuries in the first place. She also claimed that the only thing she can do to hide the evidence that she was horribly abused was to smile, which her line in that particular scene was the title of that said episode. This horrified Albert as he told her she needs to call the cops and have her parents arrested if it happens again. The girl would thank him and tell him she will as a promise. Later that night, Albert enters the inside of a hotel that Ruby and her parents are living in and put his ear at the door. What he heard was beating sounds, crying, and two adults shouting. One was female, the other was male. This angered Albert, where he proceeds to kick the door down as hard as he could, where he found Ruby in a more abused state along with her parents. The parents heard the door being kicked down before looking and seeing the horrified Albert, as he shouted at them that he will be calling the cops on them instantly due to how they treated Ruby, which is their daughter. The parents panicked and plead him not to, but was too late. It fades into the outside of the place where Officer Gomez was arresting the parents as the other cops were comforting Ruby. Ruby turns to Albert and thanked him for the help. He responded that he was too, and also said that he did the right thing calling the cops on the parents as he already knew that something bad happened to her in the first place. The episode fades into a segment of the live-action Bill Cosby, just any other episode. This episode, he is teaching the viewers about what to do in a similar situation like what Ruby went through, as it ends with the credits playing, ending the episode. And that's the end of the creepypasta. Personally, I don't like this creepypasta at all. It's hard to read out loud. There's too many run-on sentences. And as stated before, apparently there is an episode that already outlines abuse. I think maybe this one was pulled just because you could see physical indicators very freshly. Unless I have never seen an episode of Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids. So I don't know anything about if that episode, one about abuse, is out and still has that kind of imagery in it. But I could see that as why it would have been pulled. Other than that, I mean, there's a higher likelihood that the episode potentially could have existed, but I'm just sadly disinterested. Not that I believe that the subject matter that it is covering is not important or serious, but as a creepypasta, with it being written very poorly, I am just disinterested. I give it a 1 out of 10. I don't particularly like this one. Maybe if it was written better so that I could be able to concentrate on the gravity of the lesson of the episode, because it sounds like a very somber, very serious episode, but it's just so hard to read. It really pulls you away from what it's supposed to be about, in my mind. I can't say I particularly like this one. I hope someone goes through and scrub it and edit it so that it is easier to read and the gravity can be properly placed on it as the creepypasta, but until then, I can't really say I feel any way towards it. But let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys for listening. And I think it's bye-bye for now. Bye!